How's it going, guys? It's Eclipse here, and today we look at the latest update news for you guys on World of Tanks console. And of course, if you want to stay up to date, then of course this channel is primarily focused around the updates, gameplay, and just giving you tips for World of Tanks console. So be sure to subscribe if you aren't already. And let's get into what this update news is. And there's some pretty interesting stuff this week, and it comes in the form of some content that is kind of new, and then some content that is kind of regurgitated that you can take advantage of and be able to get some free stuff when playing the game. So, as with all of the Wargaming updates, every single month, it's kind of like a monthly update, you can basically earn a free tank. And this month's August challenge is, of course, the T95 E257. So this is a Cold War vehicle. It has siege mode. I believe that this has actually been in the game for a while now, and you can actually pick it up. And we can have a look at the statistics of this vehicle for those of you that don't know about it. It is, of course, a post-war era tank, so that comes in the lowest tier. It has a nice little silver earn rate, 155%, but as with all of these kind of Cold War era premiums that are in the post-war era, and the fact that they are the T95 hull makes this pretty lackluster, and you're probably not going to have the nicest of times when playing this tank. But doesn't mean that it's going to be terrible. You have your standard kind of penetration ranges. It's nothing really amazing, and so you need to be kind of aware of that when playing this tank. And you can see here 240 alpha is going to make it difficult for you to outtrade a lot of the opponents. And so overall, this tank, as it is with the kind of the pattern that you see in the World War II version, is pretty okay. And so I don't think that anyone should be grinding out and wasting their life on this thing if they're not really interested in World of Tanks console. But definitely, if you are an avid player, then it is a nice addition, but it's definitely not worth stressing over if you can't manage to complete the operation. Of course, with this operation, it is in the form of some challenge points. So now, challenge points are typically what Wargaming have done in the past, and effectively have to do a repeatable operation. And then once you earn a set amount of points from completing these operations, then you will get said kind of points in these challenges, and then you get certain rewards. So how do you get one challenge point? Well, you have to deal 1,000 or more damage in any number of battles, and then you get one challenge point. There's only one per battle, so you can't get like 5,000 damage and then end up with 5 challenge points. It's just literally one per game. And of course, if you're playing tier 10 or you're playing Cold War, then you're probably able to do 1,000 damage in literally almost every single game, so you're almost guaranteed a point per game. Then, let's have a look at the reward. So what can you actually get with these points? So first things first is earning 5 points will give you some repair kits. So it saves you like basically a little bit of silver in the game, which is nice, and it's definitely a nice addition. I actually like these operations, not purely because you get a tank for free, but actually the extras that you get, because they can be really nice to kind of boost your way through. Talking about boosting your way through, once you've earned 15 points, so a further 10 points, you will be able to get some vehicle XP boosters, so ×2, which is really, really nice to just grind through some of those terrible tech trees, and by God, are there some terrible tech trees in console. So yeah, after you've done that, you get the XP boosters. Then if you get 35 points total, you'll get some premium consumables, you get 5 of each of them, and then as you grind through even more, you get 65 points total. You'll get some further XP boosters. You get ×3 XP boosters instead of the ×2, which is nice. And then you grind out 125 points total, so 125 games essentially. You'll get 750,000 silver. Then if you grind out 185 points total over the course of the entire month, you get some premium consumables, some XP boosters, some silver boosters, some commander XP boosters, and of course that's pretty nice. It's going to save you a lot of silver, and it's also going to make you a lot of silver, especially when you get the premium itself. And then using those silver boosters on the Cold War Premium will grant you the most silver that you can possibly get in any one game on World of Tanks console. It is genuinely the best mode for earning silver. And then if you want the tank for free, it's gonna need 300 points total. So effectively what Wargaming is saying here is that whatever happens, whatever the result is, the minimum amount of games you need to play in the entire month is 300 games. And it doesn't matter whether you are the top player in every single one of those games, or you are a player that comes, a third of the way down the team, and then you end up with like 1,005 damage or something like that. So basically, for the best case scenario, you have to play 300 games, and for the average player, if you're not playing tier 10 all of the time, and maybe you're playing tier 6s, and you can't consistently get 1,000 damage, you could be looking at like 500 games. Dependent on the tier and era and whatever you're playing. I definitely think it's going to be difficult for a lot of players to be able to achieve, but not necessarily that hard. It's one of those like slogging things. It's basically a way of getting you to stay on the game and keep playing consistently throughout the entire month. But remember, this is not the best premium tank on Cold War, and so I wouldn't go stressing about it if you can't obtain it for free. And even if you get up to 185 points, you get a ton of extra boosters and extras that are nice anyway. And if you don't want to actually grind through any of this, then you can just buy the tank for 6,170 gold. And if you take into account the fact and time that you're going to have to spend to be able to complete the challenge, get 300 battles, if you take, for example, every single battle takes 5 minutes, 5 minutes times 300, you're looking at 1,500 minutes. You divide that by 60. Mental maths is probably about 25 hours, something like that, to be able to get this tank, which I guess if you're spending an hour a night is not necessarily that bad, but it's not necessarily the nicest thing for you to be able to do. I may have butchered the maths there, but it's a rough approximation. It's going to take you a while to do it, and if you can account the amount that you're having to pay for the tank, divide that by how many hours it's going to take you, and you'll get like how much value actually playing the game is worth. Because that's something I've realised, is that sometimes, although you don't want to pay Wargaming the money, it saves you so much more time, and if you actually want the thing, you don't have to spend as much time on the game to get it. But then again, it's kind of if you're not actually enjoying the game, then why would you spend money to get something that you're probably not going to enjoy anyway? So there we go. Anyway, regardless, the tank is there for free for everyone to take advantage of. That is what the operation requires. Of course, let me know in your comment section down below if you have this tank. I personally have used this tank. I thought it was pretty mediocre. The siege mode is almost diabolically bad on console. There's pretty much no real point in using it, but there we go, never mind. And of course, you can pick it up for free. Tanks Reforged comes in the form of Soviet heavy tank weapon updates, where you can get some real decent bonuses to a lot of the Soviet heavy tanks. And effectively what you're seeing is penetration updates. So up to this point, the various 122mm guns had the same 175mm of penetration from tier 6 all the way to tier 9. Yeah, exactly. You're using a tier 6 gun on a tier 9. To address this, we've rebalanced the penetration values. Well done, Wargaming, for realising that giving people stock tier 6 guns at tier 10 was a bad idea, but nonetheless, it is there. And of course, you can see the penetration changes. So tier 7 will have 175mm, tier 8 will have 190, and tier 9 will have 217, which is obviously very nice. You're seeing also that the 85mm for the KV-85 and the KV-13 getting an extra 24mm of standard penetration, and of course with the premium rounds getting an extra 33. Yeah, typical. But there we go. KV-85, KV-13 looking pretty decent. Then you get the 122mm D25 for the ISM, the IS3, the STI, the KV4 and the T10, all getting buffs as well up to the 190. And then you're seeing the 122 D25 BM getting penetration increases to just the premium penetration because Wargaming, and that is available for the ISM and the Object 705. So there you go, some pay to win upgrades there, or at least pay silver to win. Anyway, moving forward, you then get the KV-85 getting the penetration increases from 120 to 144 and 120 to 144 on both of the 85mm. You're seeing that with the IS as well. You're also seeing that the reload of the 122mm has gone down by about 10% roughly. which is actually really nice. You're going to have a little bit better DPM and probably be a little bit more competitive against the Tigers and all of the other tier 7 heavy tanks like the T29 and stuff like that you'll be facing in this IS. And then of course you've got the KV-13, which has got accuracy improvement, so it's going down from 0.43 to 0.39, which is nice. Penetration also going up, which is good. And of course the new Top Gun option with 160mm of standard pen and 220 with its premium. Yeah, nice. And then the KV-3, you're getting some of the terrible guns removed and you're just getting improved guns added in, and then you're getting the 122 with improved accuracy, reload and aim time, which is really, really nice and make the KV-3 potentially playable now, but probably not that good either way. And then the ISM at tier 8, you're getting penetration kind of buffs to both standard and premium rounds on pretty much all of the guns, so nothing really new there. Then the IS-3, similar sort of story, no improvements to rate of fire, etc. That's basically the same thing, all the way to the ST1, which is gets a reload improvement for the 122 BL9 of about 5% roughly, so nothing major, and then continually all the way up to tier 9, and with the T10 and the Object 705 getting those penetration buffs on the premium rounds, of course, which is kind of nice, but yeah, nothing too major there. And of course, for those of you who may have had all of these and any of the guns that have been removed, you will receive 100% of the silver back to you when this update goes live, so that's always nice. And then premium vehicles, the KV-5 and the Goranich are also getting some penetration buffs as well, making them slightly more competitive. And in addition to this, the Object 277 is having an on-track event where you can earn 25% more silver, 25% more experience even. And you can have a 50% silver discount between tiers 3 and tiers 6, and 30% discount on silver between tiers 7 and tiers 10, which is really, really nice indeed. So look forward to actually jumping in some of these tanks, and they weren't necessarily all too bad anyway, bar the KV-3 and some of the other kind of more unique KV-4, that sort of thing. But yeah, really looking forward to seeing what they have. And then Wargaming's weird boat tank, like, what? Wargaming are bringing in, of course, a new kind of premium Cold War vehicle for the escalation era Eastern Alliance light tank, which comes in the form of the Type 63 HG90. Now, what is the Type 63 HG90? Well, it is a kind of speed unit. It also comes with a 65% silver bonus, the highest of any Cold War mode light tank, which is crazy because if you combine this with the fact that you'll be able to put on ×2 silver boosters, you can earn probably hundreds and hundreds of thousands of silver playing this tank. But remember, this tank has absolutely no armor, so if you do get hit, it is going through you. And so, yeah, a little bit disappointed with that, but you can see the tank in more detail here with the skin. I believe that this skin will probably cost you 3,000 gold if you want to get it. Of course, the bundles typically have various different skins within them, and of course they cost different amounts. And of course, if you actually want to purchase this tank, it is one of the most expensive tanks that Wargaming have released in recent history. And it will cost you for everything, including some XP boosters, blah, 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 and all of the bundled rubbish that Wargaming usually put in these bundles, 18,750 gold. Yeah, crazy gold amount for basically one tank, and I think that will cost you about £50 if you want to actually pick up the tank as the primed bundle. And then you go down to 17,000, a reasonable like £45 for one tank, remember, and that comes in the fully loaded bundle where effectively you get some XP boosters and premium time, and of course you do get the skin as well, and that will cost you 17,000 gold. So yeah, I mean, it's slightly better than 18,750, but not particularly that great. And then you move down to the base version, which is probably the one, if I was going to recommend any of them, if you really wanted this tank, that's the one I would go for. We will do a full tank review of this tank coming this week, so you can actually get to grips to see whether or not this tank is actually really worth about £40 or about £35 for the base version. And yeah, hopefully I'll give a good full review. And of course, I'm expecting this tank to be able to have a lot of silver earn. You can see it has a 77 kilometers an hour top speed, which is crazy, especially if you boost that up with some of those speed boost equipment that you'll be able to get. A really, really amazing hull traverse and turret traverse, 80 degrees a second combined. Gun depression 5 degrees, pretty mediocre. Penetration 370, which is decent, and of course you'll be able to get 460 alpha damage out of this light tank, which is really, really nice, and you may be able to run rings around your opponents. I'm looking forward to testing it out. I think that this might actually be okay in the game, and probably one of the more solid light tanks that we've been seeing, just simply because of the alpha damage and being able to whack that out during the game. And of course 7.9 second reload, you can get it down to about 6 seconds to do 460 alpha, so you're looking approximately like 4,000 DPM with the equipment that you can put on this tank to boost up the damage per minute. So yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting one. I will definitely do a full review, so stay tuned, subscribe if you aren't already, and hopefully we'll do a good review, and hopefully this tank is actually interesting to actually play and use. Then we move on to some of the information that Wargaming have provided for us with regards to this week and some of the extras that are coming with this update. So we've had, of course, the Macavers come into the game. The win rates are looking pretty meaty, like 58%, 57%, 52%. So they're looking pretty good. And I've definitely come up against quite a few decent players playing in them. So I don't know whether that has a skew on it, but they definitely are pretty interesting and quite hard to take out, actually, just purely because they are pretty mobile and also able to dish out a lot of damage pretty quickly. Of course, the pairs matchmaking has been coming out, and with the light tank operation that's come out, and like there being like 12 light tanks in every single game, is just absolutely horrible for anyone playing World War II. Yeah, it's horrible. And of course, if you want to give a feedback on the pairs matchmaking, then make sure to do it on the official Discord server for World of Tanks console. You can find it literally probably just going on World of Tanks console website, or alternatively just typing in World of Tanks console Discord if you haven't already. The premium bonus as well is for the M1A2 Abrams and the T72BU. Contracts for the Thresher and Chisel were released as well, and of course the new Cold War. We're also seeing Wargaming's 24th anniversary, and we'll see premium tech tree sale including the Cold War tanks, so you will be seeing a lot of premium tech tree sales, and of course a lot of events that will be coming in, I expect, in bundles. You'll see free XP conversion sale going for 1 XP to 32 free XP, or at least I think that this is 1 gold to 32 XP to free XP, which is nice. You'll also see the trade-in event. I absolutely hate the trade-in event, but there we go, it's coming in again. Eligible retired premium tier 1 and tier 2 tanks available on the premium tech tree. So I don't quite know whether this is going to be for money or what, but there we go, interesting. Bundles including skins and commanders variety pack on sale as well. Anniversary op for this T95E2 57 in the month long, which we've talked about. The Soviet heavy weapon update, and of course on track to the 277. We'll also be seeing the contracts for the Needle coming out as well. And in this week we also got information on the marks of excellence. So it's something that I am doing a complete review of with all of the data. So it looks like maybe Marks of Excellence might be getting changed back to what they previously had. Artillery 2.0 has also been kind of mentioned. We know that you've all been waiting for what's next when it comes to Arty. We were originally thinking that we tweaked the US line, but at this point we felt it would be too difficult to accurately measure the impact on the game, which is why we haven't tested it this season. Of course, don't worry, Artillery 2.0 just won't come apparently. Before we can test something, we need to have confidence we can measure the results, which is true, but yeah, I don't know how they're going to do that. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see what they come with, and of course they said they'll keep us up to date with what the plans are in the future. And then season hint, season name hint, one of Darwin's famous theories. So, of course, it's going to be the evolution season, I would expect. Whether it is that, I don't know, maybe it's another one, but I would assume it is the season of evolution. So we'll be seeing probably some new tanks come out of the woodwork for Cold War, and maybe some of the older tech tree lines that we haven't yet seen in World of Tanks World War II. And so, yeah, looking forward to that. And of course, we'll cover all of the updates and stuff. You can see the thumbnail for this tank, the newly released tank as well, although it's not loading, never mind. And then we have the trade up list for USA, and this is basically all of the tanks you can go. I'm not going to go into detail because it would just take too long, but you can pause the video here, look through them and see whether or not you want to actually get any of these tanks that will be available in the trade-in event. But beware, the trading event is kind of a little bit of a scam. Not necessarily a scam, but it's kind of one of those things that isn't really that good of a deal if you're thinking about purchasing anything, and you'd be better off waiting to the premium tech tree sale that Wargaming will be doing for its 24th anniversary. That'd probably be the better thing to do. Questions: has it been considered to make any more of the maps accessible, like freezing the river on Erlenberg? Not against it, but there's no plans. Could you look at reducing smoke? This is a ticket. I would love them to reduce smoke. Smoke is terrible. It's literally like pointless having it in the game, especially when you're looking down scope. It's just completely terrible for frame rate, and also the fact that when you're looking down scope you can't actually see anything. And not necessarily the smoke consumable, but I'm talking about like when vehicles get destroyed, etc. Is it possible to add a higher tier TD and SPG to the next batch of mercenaries? We'd certainly look at it, but it might be better to not do SPGs until we finalise what they need to do in terms of rebalancing. Can you buff the Merkava 3 armour? There's a ticket on all of the Merkavas as they are bug with the engines, which is affecting them. Swedish on track, Swedish tanks, and it will surely come up in the future. Will you put skins on the Merkava? We don't have any plan, blah blah blah. Would a text chat system be possible for better communication? I don't think so, and it's possible. I don't think it's possible, and don't feel it would be easy to type a message fast enough on a controller. I think it would be that nice to even have it, especially for those of you that want to convey messages after maybe you've got taken out to your teammates. I think that would be really, really beneficial. And yeah, it's definitely possible. I can guarantee it's possible. They just don't want to actually put the work in, I expect. But there we go. Can we see some ops for skins? Yes, we can, which will be nice. Any plans to buff the TCM AGS? No plans at the minute. Its data looks healthy. I actually quite like this tank. It's pretty decent. Can we have a preferential matchmaking filter for tanks? It's certainly something we can look at. Any news on being able to zoom out further in the free look? No plans at this time. That would actually be pretty nice as well. When is Hellfire Pass coming? It will arrive around the end of August. And this is of course Scorpion Pass that was kind of changed and rejigged, and they don't really know whether it's working or not, but there we go. And of course, for those of you that haven't already, submit your feedback for the current matchmaking test that is currently, well, it's closed now, but it will definitely be able to fill out the form and let people know. So yeah, if you haven't already done that, unfortunately you probably won't be able to, but there we go. Hopefully you did enjoy this update news. Of course, let me know what you think of everything, and of course if you want to check out some of the update news and of course any of the old update news, the gameplay and tank reviews that we've done on the channel, then you can see them on screen right now. Other than that, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day and a really good week, and I hope that you'll join me back in one of the upcoming videos coming soon. Goodbye.